don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Welcome to the No One Asked for This podcast. I'm Guy.
And I'm Babs.
And nobody asked for this. Today we will be talking about AEW Dynamite. AEW held their first live broadcast Wednesday night show, and they have begun the Wednesday night wars with NXT. We were in attendance for the AEW show. It was in Washington, D.C., and we're going to give our thoughts on that today. First up, as always, is our Triple M most memorable moment. Barbara, what's your most memorable moment from the show?
I am gonna go with the final match, which was a 3-on-3 match.
Yes, it was a six-man tag.
It was a six-man tag match, but then after the match kind of ended, it kind of turned into a mayhem. Jack Swagger came out. I don't think that's what he's called in AEW. Jack Hager.
We don't do research.
They cut out the S's because he has a hard time with those, I guess. Cody Rhodes' brother came out.
I think he is going by just Dustin Rhodes.
Justin Rhodes came out, and then my man Dean Ambrose came out.
John Moxley.
Oh my God.
You have to get used to their AEW name.
What's his real name?
I don't know. John something. Jonathan Good.
Wow.
Don't ask me why I know that.
That is a boring name. That is the most boring name. Anyway, it turned into mayhem after the match, and there was just all these people came out that I know from WWE, and I was excited to see them.
Yeah, that was a good time. And my most memorable moment is part of that when Mox did the DDT through the glass table in the VIP section backstage. You know a spot is going to be effective when the camera shows whatever object they're about to destroy, and your first instinct is, oh no, you guys are going to kill each other. And as the camera put the glass table in the shot and John Moxley looked at it, I knew he was going to smash that table. And it was scary and awesome and everything you want from a pro wrestling spot. Next up, we have the background bums and bosses. Bums are going to be the Jinder Mahals, and the bosses are going to be R-Truth. So, Babs, are you going to give out an R-Truth or a Jinder Mahal award today?
I'm going to give out a Jinder Mahal award, but it's not... I like this AEW show. I had really never heard of it before. I came in not knowing what I was going to watch, and I was really into it the whole time, but I will say it was not that much different than the WWE. So that's why I'm going to give that award to lack of originality here.
It is pro wrestling, and so you can only be so original and still have an audience.
I mean, maybe eventually they will, kind of develop into a different sort of thing, but it was just very, very similar.
They had the most devastating move in all pro wrestling, the surprise roll-up, and the referee distraction. Basically pro wrestling 101.
Yeah.
I'm going to give out also a Jinder Mahal, which is a background bum, to the sound crew or sound team, because when I was watching the broadcast this morning, I could hear everything clearly in the arena. Whenever someone was cutting a promo on their microphones, I couldn't hear anything they were saying. At one point, the entire crowd was chanting. I think when Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes were doing their thing, we were all chanting, "We can't hear you."
Yeah.
Bum. You get a Jinder Mahal. Next, we got the special shout out. I'd like to give my special shout out to Natty Light Seltzers. I stopped drinking beer, and having seltzer now available in Capital One Arena is going to get me out of a lot of jams. So that's my special shout out. Babs, who you got?
My special shout out goes to Heel Jericho. I really enjoyed Heel Jericho with his long flowing hair and his spiky jacket.
And his lax performance-enhancing policies.
He always wears cool jackets.
I always loved Jericho. He is very good at being an ambassador for pro wrestling and yet still bringing it as a character in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
So transitioning from there, we're going to go to the MVP, the most valuable performer. Barbara, who you got?
I'm going with Cody Rhodes on this one. I felt like that first match with him and whoever that guy was My apologies.
We don't do research.
That was a really great match to start off with.
That's a good point, and I'm stepping on my future points by saying this, but that was a good job at introducing all of the characters and kind of guiding the crowd to who you should be cheering for and who you should be booing, because at first light, when the curtain goes up and the wrestlers come out, I'm sitting there thinking, should I be booing Cody or should I be cheering Cody? And within 30 seconds of the match, you kind of knew, okay, he's the face and the other guy's the heel. But my most valuable performer, or my MVP, is going to go to Riho, their inaugural women's champion. She is very good at being thrown around like a rag doll. She was very Dolph Ziggler in that way. And she was wrestling a bigger opponent. And they were showcasing how big and strong the woman she was wrestling was by throwing her every which way they could throw her. And she still put out some innovative and believable offense, and in the end came away with the victory without having to do surprise roll-up or referee interference. So she's my MVP for the show. Moving on, what's your gut reaction?
My gut reaction is that was awesome. The best chant the crowd can give you in wrestling is, "This is awesome." I loved it. I enjoyed it. This is awesome.
Although we chanted "holy shit" a lot more times in that show,
Yes.
the "this is awesome" chant is the traditional way to celebrate a gritty and great performance. My gut reaction, as I mentioned earlier, is that they did a good job at introducing characters and feuds to what could be new audiences. Because if you're not familiar or you're not reading all the dirt sheets with what's going on with AEW, you go into that show or you turn on TNT and you're like, okay, who am I cheering and who am I booing? And they did a good job of letting you know that as fast and as quickly as they could without hitting you over the head with it or without it being distracting. So lastly, we're going to give out our Dave Meltzer star rating for the show. Babs, what's your rating?
I'm going to give it a 4. Basically, this is my thought. If you're into wrestling, you'll like it. You don't need to know all the characters. I didn't really know any of the characters. I only knew the people I knew from WWE. So I had no idea what I was seeing. I was excited by every match. It was a good time. So it gets a 4.
As a first show, I feel like I'm going to grade on a curve here. I would also give it a 4, simply because it's been years since I've had options when it comes to who I'm going to for my mainstream wrestling. And I am so appreciative of the fact that I am able to turn on my television or DVR and watch wrestling that doesn't say WWE. It will only help the wrestling I'm already enjoying become the best version of itself, while also giving me an option when WWE is stale. That's all for today. We have been recapping AEW Dynamite #1. Thank you for listening. I'm Guy for Babs. No one asked for this.